Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Shobocast with me, Paul.
I'm Dan.
I'm Cameron.
I am also Dan.
And this week we'll be talking about our top 5 Big Finish stories. But not yet.
I think it's going to be more convince Dan to listen to Big Finish.
Dan hasn't listened to any Big Finish. Is that right?
Yeah, I've never gone into Big Finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got about 6 Big Finish stories in my library.
I've listened to a bit more than that, but Paul here is the one who's listened to and owns. I think
this year alone, I think I've probably spent about £700 on Big Finish.
Jesus.
Fucking hell. I think you own a significant proportion of the amount of Big Finish sold.
I don't, I don't
keeping
even
them
think I own
going.
that much.
It's only you.
Yeah,
Paul is like the top shareholder.
Out of everyone I know, I own the most because no one else owns any, apart from Ed, from Ed Sports.
Oh, Big Ed.
I don't even think I own that much. Because there's always other stuff out there where I'm like, I'll have to buy that and never get round to it because they've already took all my money.
So yeah, we're doing this episode similar to how we did our top 5 Modern Who episodes thing, where we're gonna go round and just chat about ones that we like. But before that, how's everyone's week been?
It's all right. I'm quite tired.
Doesn't he look tired?
What? Oh,
Don't you
yeah.
think Dan looks tired?
How tired do I look?
Dan will be replaced by next week.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
getting
who will replace
a
me?
much younger model.
Someone
No
called
one knows this, but
A
Dan is
younger,
about
sexier
53.
Dan. I hide it very well.
Lot
Don't
of
I?
hair dye.
You don't.
Don't I? Don't I?
The toupee's a bit overkill, I'd say. But apart from that, the eyebrows are very, very plucked.
The thing is, he wears.
I don't pluck my
I'm pretty sure the
eyebrows.
wig he's got on is actually backwards because I can't ever see his face. It's just hair.
We're also going to be talking about Daleks! Exclamation mark as
Yeah,
well.
we're talking
yeah.
about that. We've got stuff to say about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. But we'll get onto that later.
It was Daleks! Exclamation mark.
It was Daleks! Exclamation mark.
It truly was. Speaking of Daleks! Exclamation mark.
Oh yeah.
Master! Exclamation mark. Got a big
Oh,
finish
go
point this week then.
Did it? Is that news?
It's not news.
No, that's just how
Well,
Paul's
news
week's
that he
been.
has such a smooth face.
It is a very smooth face. But
Okay, do you want to talk about that then?
yeah, not as news though. Just this is what I've
This is
been
just
up
how
to this
Paul's
week.
week has been. Is Eric Roberts' smooth face?
So- Yeah,
I'll
I
add that in.
I don't like his hair.
I don't like your hair.
No,
But,
have you
you know,
seen
I
it?
never mentioned
It's too wispy.
You can't hate Paul's hair because it's like the
It's my
default
best feature.
loadout of hair.
I'm just going to
What?
add a little thing to the.
That's
Well,
not an
that's
insult.
what
It is
I've
just
got a
it is
mohawk.
nice. It's not chaos like mine, and it's not balding like mine either. Actually, I think Paul's got the best hair here. If I'm honest, I think Paul's quite lucky.
Oh, nice one, lad.
What's
I
wrong
never-
with my
I
hair?
never-
To be fair, we've never seen Cameron's hair because he's always wearing
'Cause he's
that.
What
It's
is it
always
you're wearing?
Always wearing a Cam banner,
What?
That's alright, actually. I quite like your hair.
a Cameron bandana.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
A Camdana, you might say.
Eric Roberts is back and he's dressed for the occasion, but we don't know which occasion.
Well,
But,
should we save this for the news then, if you want to talk about it in the
no, he
news?
said it's not the news. He said this is how he's.
Well, no,
living it.
the smoothness of his face. You've brought me around. I've added it to the news now.
Okay then. So this week I finished writing a short film and an essay.
Are they the same thing?
And we'll play it now.
Nah.
Here's the short film.
Did
That was good.
I finish anything for uni? Yeah. Oh, amazing. Oh, I
Done some equations.
no, I've not done any equations in a long time.
Did you get a piece of paper and a pen and loop the paper?
I finished the coursework for research methods in physics.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Huh?
Physics.
Physics.
It was about as interesting as it sounds.
Milo.
Oh, we're gonna have to do that episode one day, and we'll probably get upset about the Sarah Jane stuff, but then just physics.
You know
We
when
should
you
try-
said
get
that, I
Milo on the
thought,
show.
Cameron is correctamundo. A word I have never used and probably never will again.
It's weird because that's the exact sort of word the 11th Doctor would cream on. Like, that is a proper 11th Doctor catchphrase if ever I've heard one.
Yeah.
I forgot to mute Discord. Hang on.
So Cameron, what have you been up to this week?
I stuck some fruit in a pan and soaked it in a shit ton of alcohol to make a Christmas cake with. It smells very nice. It's got at least 2 bottles of fortified wine in.
Just
It
a
does
bit of
smell
fudge.
nice. I can smell it from here. It is very nice.
That's me a very pungent cake if you can smell it from.
Yeah. If anyone was
from
out,
your-
if anyone was out today on the 15th and smelt something strange, it was probably Cameron.
Around
probably just
Yorkshire.
Cameron.
It was Cameron's cake.
It was just Cameron.
I've not been outside today, so you know.
And by Cameron's cake, I mean his massive ass.
You mean his ass? Yeah. Oh no.
Oh no!
I
Cameron,
don't have enough cider for this.
how's your week been?
Just ask him that.
I just got asked that. I started
shit,
making
sorry.
Christmas cake.
He's put fruit in water or something.
Oh yeah.
Fruit
Is
and
that it?
alcohol, and a lot of it.
Dan,
Yeah.
what have you... No,
Oh.
other Dan.
Oh.
What have you been up to?
I've actually done nothing this week.
Have you not been in work?
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
actually.
then you have done something this week.
Yeah, well. No, I've done nothing interesting. I put out the. I've just been editing the last episode and putting that out. That was my week.
And that is certainly not interesting at all.
I still haven't listened to it, but I'm very excited to hear the I Am the Doctor.
Oh,
There's
it
some-
was.
There's
It
some
was
funny
a
bits in
work
there.
Is
of
it,
art.
is it very early on, like before the credits, or
No,
is it
it's
like...
it's in the knock knock discussion. I think it's the time. I think it's on the time code for knock knock. I don't know.
How was it?
I was drunk at the time, as I usually am when I edit those.
It's the best way to do it.
It's the only way to do it.
Hide the pain.
Hide
Harold.
the pain, Harold.
She's
Speaking of
sweet.
pain, should we talk about
Do we do the
Daleks!
news?
Exclamation mark before we do the news?
Uh,
Or do you
Yeah.
want to do that after
Okay.
the news?
I think should do it after the news.
Alright, we'll do it
Yeah.
after the news.
We'll do it after. I don't want you stepping on my toes.
Sorry.
The news. What a jingle! What a jingle! And by how I know Dan, based on the amount of times we've said talked about the jingle, now he's not going to put the jingle in.
But
First
he
bit
made the
of-
jingle, so he is now very erect.
Whoa.
There's there's not a lot of news this week. I know that phrase scares you, Paul.
Because there was a lot of news this week.
There's not. There's one big bit of news,
There
and then everything else is padding,
is.
as it tends to be with this segment of the show. First bit of news. It's just a bit of news. There's a collection of story. I'm going to start this one again.
Dan won't add the throat, don't worry.
It will
No,
not.
I won't.
Will not. I Am the Master, which is a collection of. That's me admitting that, by the way. It's not the title of the book.
Alright.
What a
Um,
twist. Greatest
What a twist.
in Series 12 in Spike.
That's
yeah, it's
just
a
what they
series
call him in the
of-
bedroom.
when he dominates us.
Yeah, they call me. They call me Michael Sheen, for I am the master of sing.
Is that not Charlie Sheen?
No, that's Michael Sheen. Is that series where he plays the? I've not seen it. I don't know.
The
When he
news.
plays with...
The news.
I thought you
I am
said
the
Charlie
master.
Sheen was HIV.
What?
Where are we going? What are we doing?
The news!
The news. So there's 6 stories about the 6 like short stories about the Master doing stuff. Oh fucking hell! I've lost it.
Evil things.
I don't think
Evil
you're fit to do the
thing.
news anymore.
Is
Yeah.
one of them? Is one of them Eric Roberts' master?
Well, it's 6 adventures with 6 incarnations.
Because
I could not actually find a list of who's in it.
the
I
last one's
probably could have,
Gahan.
but I didn't look.
The
Yeah,
last
well,
one's
one of them is a story from the Master's latest incarnation during his 77 years of imprisonment on Earth. A bit from Skyfall. We all universally acknowledge is bad. We all agreed. No, we all agree, Paul. We've all agreed.
We definitely didn't have an argument about
We
it.
all
for
agree
about
that we
20
hate
minutes.
Don't do this, man.
Everyone here is on the same page about this.
Yeah, definitely.
There were no disagreements.
Yeah.
The master should never be tried for his crimes.
He
Well,
wasn't,
sorry,
he was tried
what,
for his race.
Cameron, what do you think of
it's
that
not
bit?
a race.
Which bit?
The
The
bit in Spyfall.
77 years is alright, but the bit that led up to him spending 77 years, no.
The bit where the Doctor does a racism. Anyway,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. to be
She's not racist though. Ah,
fair. Right, let's not do this again.
it's not like
move
she
on.
I
handed
don't think I
Yazoo
can
to
handle that
him.
again.
Move on.
But Paul's wrong. So,
Fuck off.
So what do you think of this?
Well, I think he's a wrong.
No, not about the book, you moron.
Nah,
I found a list
I'm
of
very-
the masters.
I'll go on.
Oh,
So it is. This is from the Doctor Who fandom wiki article
Master
I
Uwe.
don't
about I Am the Master. And so it's got a story called Anger Management by Peter Engelhertz. And it has the Roger Delgado Master. There's then one with the Decayed Master, which is
Jeffrey Beavers.
yes.
Jeffrey
There's
Beavers.
one
He looks different in every single poster I see him in.
Yeah. There's
Just the
then
crispy
Missy,
master.
that's 3.
the Tremas Master,
Who?
The what now?
Anthony Ainley.
Trachen Master.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Traken.
Well, he
Right.
was a man called Tremas before he was the Master.
Right.
It
He
really
took the body.
lends itself to the Scouse accent, that doesn't it, Paul?
Traken?
Traken.
Well,
The
what it is,
Saxon Master and Spy Master, so it doesn't have Eric Roberts or the War Master in.
Interesting.
with Trachen, I've obviously, as a Scouser, I've been raised my whole life to say words with Trachen because we're all born in tracksuits. So I've outgrown mine. But everyone else outside of this house, you can't move for them. It's like a forest.
You're born and they immediately throw you into a tracksuit.
Yeah. They like
No, it's
they
part of the
sling you
skin.
out and
They have
catch
to
you and
shed it
stuff.
eventually.
Yeah. I've shed mine. I've outgrown the tracksuit. The trackies, as we call them here.
Trachis.
From Traken.
Some trackies.
That
So
just
anyway,
sounds like
yeah.
you're mispronouncing Trekkies. Which is wrong podcast there, Paul.
Knowing paedophiles. Joking. Nah,
Oh,
have
no.
you ever heard about that? It was
About
like
what?
it was like 90% of all pedos in Canada were Star Trek fans.
How did they conduct this research?
They just
When
asked
the-
each one, do
when
you
the-
like Star
when the
Trek?
checked- When they checked the hard drives, it was all like Star Trek and child porn.
There were just 2 folders on the
Doctor
entire
Who
computer.
news!
So anyway, yeah, I'm very excited for the one where the spy.
How did we
Oh,
get
no.
there?
Don't you love how?
No,
Don't,
I know how we got there because Paul said it for no reason, as usual.
Because we let Paul take the reins. That's how we got there.
And we should
don't,
never do that.
don't you love how the masters all have designated names rather than numbers? Like
Yeah.
the spy master and the Saxon master and
Yeah.
Missy.
Yeah.
And but when I said Missy like that, I didn't mean I hate her. I just meant because it's just not a good name in comparison to the others. But yeah, like the War Master as well, and then the others are just not. Yeah.
Well, speaking of masters who weren't involved in it, Eric
Yeah.
Roberts.
Segway.
Oh,
Segway. So you'll like me talking about this, Paul, because a cover got released for Master exclamation mark.
No way, really?
Yeah, and I normally wouldn't talk about covers because I don't consider them news, but you made a good point that he's got an extremely smooth face in
He
this
does,
cover.
doesn't he?
The smoothest
It's not
face.
just the smooth
Look-
face.
Look
So-
at his hair. You can see every strand.
Paul a photo in our news chat, and if you look at his forehead, he's got the like wrinkle lines that just stop halfway across his face.
I think that's the lighting.
I want to believe that
Oh no, they do. They do
Where's that?
stop.
they just stop halfway across his face.
Yep. But look at his hairs. They're all so white. Like, going from his slicked back black hair, this very messy, fucking bright white hair, where you can see every strand that's not neatly
You're
uncombed.
really focused on the seeing every strand bit of this.
I
aren't you?
can see every strand and it's so far away. It's
Do you
just,
do you do this when you talk to anyone else with hair? You just go, I can
no.
see all the strands of your hair.
when I was younger and I'd get rice, my eyes would have trouble focusing on every grain of rice.
When you'd get rice,
Like
when they hand out rice to the children of
Yeah.
Liverpool.
That was the
Come around, children, get your rice.
the old Liverpudlian festival where you used to go out into the streets and there would be the rice parade. And I remember when I was 12 and I
Liverpudlian
got
rice
my rice.
But yeah, my eyes would have trouble concentrating on every grain of rice. But like,
because you'd really have to savor that experience, wouldn't you, with the rice?
yeah,
Because you wouldn't have it for long. So you gotta take in every single grain.
yeah.
It can be hard when you're so excited by the rice.
I'm just imagining a younger version of Paul looking at a bowl of rice and trying to focus, and his eyes just ping across every time he tries to focus on one. He just faints.
Can't see the rice.
Well, it might be to do with me wearing glasses as well, because I've not got the best eyesight. But it just sent me out scatty. I'd be like, wow, can't have this. But yeah, I got over that eventually. I don't know how. But now
Right,
when
so-
I eat rice, I'm just like,
Dan, you are
Right.
another person with terrible eyesight. Have you ever had that problem?
listen,
Where I
lad,
can't
because that's
concentrate on
happened.
rice.
Yeah.
I feel
it's
like I
just so-
think about rice a regular amount, and I don't really have trouble concentrating on the rice.
when you see rice, do your eyes not like struggle to focus on every single
Do
individual
we want to do an
grain?
experiment?
Yes. Have you got rice there?
I've got some rice in the kitchen.
Go on.
Just be a second.
Are you going to cook it first?
I'm not going to cook it first.
Right.
Was it
Well, yeah,
cooked
fucking hell
rice?
if it is.
He's gonna cook one
It's
grain
like
of rice for this.
egg fried rice from the chippy, yeah.
From the chippy?
Yeah.
Make it yourself.
I was a child.
Rice. Egg
Ah,
fried rice from a chippy.
yeah, what's that about? You mean the Chinese?
What? No, it's a chippy.
Surely a Chinese or an Indian.
Yeah.
No, it's a chippy.
Fucking arse backwards thing you've got there, mate.
It's called a chippy. You get
You get everything
Salt-
but
You
chips.
get chips and
You got-
fish and sausage, and my one does battered pizza.
Oh.
that's not even a restaurant. That's nothing.
Right,
It's
I've got the rice here.
It's a chippy. You get salt and pepper chicken. You get rice. You get chips.
No, that's a Chinese.
No, because
No,
I
it's
get
not.
salt
It's a
pepper
chicken.
chicken from the Chinese. I get the curry from the Indian takeaway. I get the kebab from the kebab shop. I get the fish and chips from the chippy.
Yeah.
Nah.
Hence the name.
No, it's
So
it-
this
it-
is
sure.
this is half a bag of a 500-gram co-op bag of balsami rice.
Yeah, I never thought I'd ever
Other
see you
brands
do
of
this.
rice
I
are
never-
available.
I never thought I would hear those words on this podcast.
This is very important to the discussion of Doctor Who. So how much rice do you want me to pour out that I can concentrate
Do
on?
13 because it's
Yeah.
episode 13.
a portion.
13 rice.
13 rice.
13 rice.
13
Right,
rice.
this is a
Do you get the same problem with Rice Krispies?
Nah.
because
Okay.
they're bigger, you idiot.
They're the
So
this
tiny
is
bit
a-
bigger.
I've got
I
some
don't-
rice in a bowl.
Yep, that's
That's
definitely
quite white.
13 grains of rice.
So, right, so what do you want me to do with this rice, Paul?
Look at it. Well, he's done
So
it.
what
Try
is
and
it you?
try and
try and what?
see every grain, like individually.
Okay.
Hard, innit?
No.
Fuck off.
I just look at the. It's just rice, isn't it, Paul?
No, but when I'd eat it as a kid, my eyes would just be like darting around the plate, like wow.
You have to take. There's so much rice here. I can't take in all the rice.
I specifically remember one occasion where I was like, I don't think I can eat this. Because my eyes were just like...
Because you couldn't...
Because I just couldn't...
Focus.
It was like there was just millions of rice there, just like...
I mean, don't be ridiculous. That's an extraordinary amount of rice.
But it's like... Yeah, well, this was at the Liverpool Rice Giving Festival.
How much does 1 million grains of rice weigh?
2 bowls.
2 bowls. You want to bet 1 million grains of rice weighs 2 bowls?
Maybe 3.
Wait.
Do we want to talk about some other Doctor Who news?
No.
Can we talk about something at least slightly related to Doctor Who?
Well, after we find out how much 1 million grains of rice.
William Hartnell passed away once. Riced in peace.
Oh, wonderful.
It's now...
Wonderful.
It's now tangentially... I'm sorry, William.
So, a single grain of rice weighs 0.092 grams.
Irrelevant.
0.9. So we're going to times that by 1 million. So that is... that is 29,000 grams of rice.
About 2 bowls.
Well, that's about 29 kilograms, Paul.
About 3 bowls.
29 kilograms. I'm just going to Google what 30 kilograms of rice looks like. This is very important.
And we
Doctor Who.
get on to like anything else.
So a 10 kilogram pack of rice. It's going to be about that big. So, like, it's going to be about a meter squared cube of rice is 1 million grains of rice. One
big bowl.
Yes.
So now we've got that out the way, which we can all agree was a very important discussion. Let's move on with the news. I'll see if I can get this rice back in the pack.
I also have the same problem when I'm reading a book for a long period of time, and then I can just see all the letters and just can't.
Well, that's called dyslexia, Paul.
What?
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
I've just remembered that this is a Doctor Who podcast, and you should shut up and get into the next bit, please.
I've just been diagnosed with dyslexia live on air.
Well, I think this rice discussion was
not
very relevant to Doctor Who, but Shimmy, you want us to move on, All right, fine. I'm caving.
Like Dan doesn't go off on tangents about rice.
The rice tangents.
Tangerine.
Next bit of news. Last bit of news. Yeah.
Because
I told you, Paul, nothing happened. You what?
I seem to recall a lot of news in that chat.
There was no news. Nothing worth talking about. Series 13 has begun filming.
Oh, this is big news, actually.
This is big news. So they released a still of the first slate. So they began filming on 2nd November under strict government guidelines. Because of I don't know if you heard about it, but there's everyone's getting a bit sick around the place.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. So due to these guidelines, there is only 8 episodes this season, or next season, I should say.
Series.
Yeah, Dan, season is referring to
well,
the classic
actually the American.
Technically, we're on season 37 by now, I think. Or something like that.
Nah.
No, I think it is 39 or something.
It's around then, isn't it?
Yeah. How do we feel about this? I think we all feel the same, don't we? And that it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like,
it's got its benefits.
Not really.
So
it could give us some very good stories, but I do wish there was more.
It's literally only 2 episodes left.
Well,
Just think of it like this, Cameron. No Orphan 55.
or
exactly.
think
It
about
could be
it this.
two really shit episodes less, or it could be 2 really good ones less. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah,
Think
we'll
about
find
this.
out
No
how
Villa
they-
Diodati.
We'll still get we'll know because they're not going to cut a good episode out.
No, I know.
don't
I mean,
know.
No,
it
we
could
don't know
be.
about that.
And Villa Diodati was like very like tied into the main arc, so they're not going to do that.
It could be that like some of the better episodes that were going to come out that season were the more expensive ones,
they'll
or the
be
more
in
Yeah,
hard to do.
exactly. It's not a case
They'll
of
be in the next
them
series,
scrapping the episodes that would have been. It's a case of them
Really?
choosing to not do the episodes that we could really enjoy. Like that's the risk. But
They'll still
apart
do
from
them
that-
eventually, though. They're not just going to scrap good script.
No, not
Yeah, no,
necessarily.
but unless
They'll
it's
put them in the next series.
like Dan said, unless it's really expensive, in which case that makes sense.
Oh,
I don't know. I just want a
Dan's
tighter.
gone a bit funny.
Have I?
Robotic Dan.
It's fine on my end though, so we're all right. Can you still hear me?
Oh no,
you-
I think you're back now.
Right,
Oh
okay.
no, you're going to go.
He's gone again.
Always the way.
Yeah.
Um,
Hopefully we
it's
get a
recording.
tighter arc and all that jazz.
Oh no.
yeah,
Can you
I
hear
don't
me
think
again?
this is going to affect the quality of the season for better or worse.
No.
If anything, it'll
Um,
make it like more good.
Well, will
Tighter.
it?
Yeah.
Tighter.
Because they're
I've
not
seen a lot of
changing.
people
It'll
saying
make it.
it
Make
could be like a
tighter.
Children of Earth from Torchwood, where that was a smaller series run, and it was all of the episodes were one story, and it was tight and concise and everything, and it did its job.
Yeah.
But
Well, it
but
But then
did-
that
there's
was
also
the
the other
deliberate-
side of it, where it could just be whatever episodes they could get out easily,
Yeah,
so they're not as refined.
it's the thing with Children of Earth is that was one singular story. That was like a serialized thing, whereas this is going to be episodic because that's how Doctor Who works. And it was a decision to be told that way. Like they said, we're writing the episodes. This series has 5 parts to it. So that's all Children of Earth needs to be. But with Doctor Who, like you just get a bunch of stories. It's episodic. So like unless it was like a deliberate choice, it's like we're going to streamline it. We're going to cut out some of the fat, and we're going to spread out
Yeah.
the budget a bit more. Whereas this isn't a choice based on streamlining the story. This is a choice based on we've got less time and less money.
Yes, but if they would have known that before they started filming, so they may have gone, we have less time and less money, let's do this. But we don't know until late next year, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be just as good.
Is
But I also reckon it might even be better because of how short it is.
Revolution
But-
being counted as one of the 8?
No, one
no,
of the
because
8
they've
was a
already
Christmas
filmed
special.
that.
That was filmed
okay.
about. That's been filmed for
No,
over
I mean,
a year.
so that's part of series 12, and
So-
then series 13
so-
start. Okay.
Yeah.
It's 8 parts, but I think one of them's a special.
yeah,
I just realised that. Yeah, because Revolution was
8
part of the
instead of
filming.
11.
It was
Right,
part of the
so-
filming block of series 12.
But to be fair, it'll be because it's coming out in autumn, so it'll be those 7 episodes and then like a couple of weeks wait and then the special, rather than like series 12 where it's like an entire year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it's
so
not that-
it will
not
be
that bad.
seven episodes in the season plus whenever the festive special comes out.
I have faith in Chibnall.
Well, that's
It's twice
impressive of you.
Wall. I know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good.
With news of the filmings began, it was sort of confirmed that Yaz is getting a new costume at Children in Need.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Well,
yeah. Had a bit at Children in Need. Yaz was wearing a slightly different costume, had like a turtleneck sweater on under the jacket.
Yeah, Yaz has other clothes. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
He doesn't just have the 3 pairs of clothes. She's
I'm
a
gonna have a
person.
look at this.
But yeah, I am looking forward to. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have 8 episodes in autumn than like 10 episodes at the end of 2022 or whenever. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd rather have
I'd-
stuff. I'd rather have fewer stuff sooner than more stuff later. Just to keep
Yeah.
us going,
I'd-
because it's been a hell of a year.
Especially
I'd
when
be
the difference is
more
only
on
2
board.
episodes.
I'd be more on board with this if this wasn't like if this was more of a. We've decided to do less episodes so we can have more money. But it remains to be seen.
That's
like,
true.
What actual effect this is going to have on it.
If it was a decision they made because they thought we can do a better series like this, I'd be way more on board. But I'm hoping
if we
for
have
the
to
best.
wait longer, we'd only be waiting for like 2 more episodes as well. So like, there's no point waiting like an extra year just for 2 episodes.
Yeah, no, it's just going into it knowing that they've been restricted. It's not that they're restricting themselves. If that makes
True,
sense.
but they won't have cut like important ones. Like they won't cut like the timeless children.
Well, we don't know what we're talking about, so let's move
No.
on.
Yeah. So that's the last bit of news.
Is it?
No, there's some Big Finish
Is there?
announcements. Yeah.
There's new figures.
Always skip over the big finish announcement.
There is going to be a third Doctor story where all of the characters in it are dead. It's got John Pertwee, Elizabeth Sladen, and
What?
Liz Shaw. All 3 of those actors are dead.
True
Oh,
for life.
right, okay. The actors, not the characters.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Wrong writing.
We've killed them all.
I thought you were
11
saying it was
Doctor
ironic
Chronicles.
because they're all dead in real life.
Don't know, but I don't get why they're doing a story with those 3 characters. It's also got Lethbridge Stewart in,
Who's dead?
who Nicholas Courtney is also passed away. So I don't get why they're doing a story where all 4 of the main characters, the actors, are dead.
They've tested the water with David Bradley, haven't they? And that went down well. So now they're not afraid to just recast people.
Yeah, but the difference is David Bradley was in the show, and these.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, well,
Yeah,
the
I
thing
think...
is, it's whether we like it or not, it's happening. I'm sure it will be good,
Yeah.
but it just
It's,
depends on how you feel.
Sadie
about
Miller as Elizabeth Sladen, so it's her daughter.
it. Yeah,
Really,
Yeah.
she's in the one with Tom Baker as well. That comes out
Yeah.
next year.
she is. Yeah.
I've got that pre-ordered. I've had that pre-ordered for about 6 months now, and it's still not out for the year.
So is it John Culshaw as the Brigadier? Because I think he does an impression of him.
Is it him as the third
think it
Doctor
might
as
be.
well?
He does a really
know
good Pertwee,
it's
but I
not
think
him
they're
as
using
third Doctor.
Tim. I don't know his surname. Tim something.
Tim
He
Shaw.
normally does Pertwee.
Tim Shaw.
Yes, Tim
Trelaw.
Shaw. Yeah, yeah. I think they might be using him and having Culshaw as
Tim Trelaw.
Trelaw.
My favourite kind of mint.
And yeah, it's Coleshaw as Lethbridge Stewart, with Daisy
Hello.
Ashford as Liz Shaw.
Yeah.
I'm having real trouble getting this right.
I mean, I'm up for more Liz, but
It's really hard.
what's happening?
I'm trying to get the rice back in the packet.
Get a funnel.
Dan's
What kind of
flatmate's
funnel?
gonna come home and go, God, I could just do with some. Where's the rice?
Well,
the
that's the
floor.
thing. When I went and
He's just
got
there
this rice,
counting each grain on the worktop.
when I went and got
Picking
this
it all up
rice,
off the floor, one by one.
one of my flatmates was in the kitchen. And I just said, "Oh yeah, I'm just going actually to get this rice in a bowl." And I ran back to my room.
He took it directly out of his hand as he was about to pour it in the pan.
And they were just shouting at me as I left. Like, "You don't get to. What are you doing? No, that's not how you cook rice."
Dan just eats raw rice in his room like a
Nom, nom,
maniac.
nom, 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 nom.
Like
You ever
pills.
had like raw pasta?
Yeah, it's
Like
unpleasant,
crunchy
isn't it?
pasta. I don't hate it.
Have you ever
Fuck
had
off.
fresh pasta?
What's that?
I bit my tongue.
What a shambles of a sneeze. So Daleks exclamation mark came out this week as a
Yeah, episode.
transgender.
What was
I'm
the name of it? The archive.
Oh, that's a bad joke.
The Archives of something?
I'll have a
I-
look. I'm
I
getting
saw
it up. I'm going to play it with no sound in
it's
the background.
IS.
The archive of Isolus.
The archive of
Isolus.
ISIS. Yeah.
Do you know Osama bin Laden had like Nintendo games saved to his hard drive and everything to play?
Damn.
Well, Nintendo's for everyone.
I'm gonna message even bin Laden.
Even terrorists.
That should be their slogan. Nintendo for everyone, even bin
Child
Laden.
or terrorist, you get to play Super Mario Odyssey.
So, what did you think of the show? Daleks exclamation mark.
I thought it was quite dull.
I thought it was very.
yeah.
I thought it
didn't
was
think much.
the same thing. Like it was very repetitive and very. Yeah, a bit.
Yeah,
dull. Like
it for a lot of it, it felt like it was just the Daleks going, "We're gonna get in the archive," and the Guardians of the Archive going, "You're not gonna get in the archive." And
exactly.
it was just
And it
that
was the
I only
same
got
over and
stuff
over and over
happening.
and
again
it
for
was
about
They were
15
saying
minutes.
the same things. The same
Did you know
music
that-
playing.
Mhm.
Weird.
Do you know the Dalek that came in? About
Which one? There's quite a few in this series.
I
Strategist.
so do you know? No, it's the one from the comic.
It
Do you know
is.
the damaged one? Yeah. Do you know his voice? I thought it was a bit off. Like there was a bit
Well,
too much emotion. in
they're
it.
all personalised a bit, aren't they? They all got a bit
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
I feel like apart from like a Supreme, they should all have like the same kind of voice. But that one especially sounded a bit too like emotional. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
just
it
sounded-
was
I
like
can't actually remember.
yeah,
It was a bit-
it was odd. The whole thing was odd. What do we think of the way it looked?
I don't mind it. It's not
weird and
it's not
cheap.
bad, but it's not great. It does what
wasn't
it's meant to.
I didn't really notice until there were the explosions. And they were
Uh-huh.
just
The
square.
explosions and the shadows of everything as it flew over, like the Daleks flying over buildings and stuff.
Yeah,
the
the
shadows
Dalek
like jumping
lightning
around.
stuff.
Yeah, the explosions look really bad. The sound
It's
design
re-
was
it's-
great.
It's really
The
weirdly
sound design-
lit as well.
Yeah, 'cause
I found.
The
The
thing
sound
is,
design was great because it's basically just Big Finish. But
exactly,
animated,
I was just going to say that. I actually looked away from the screen for half of it because it was that repulsive, and actually just thought, I'm just listening to Big Finish. This works because they do a thing, and then they'd mention what they just did, and then they'd describe the next thing they're going to do, and then you'd hear the sound effect for it. So it was like, so this could just be a free Big Finish.
There was
Weird.
one line of dialogue that I liked in it that I cannot remember. So
Do you want a
Was it the
membership?
bit about? Yeah.
was it the what?
He's saying we're going to destroy the archive, and they're like, would you like a membership with us? Something like that.
Oh no, it's not that.
Oh, right.
It was a serious line of dialogue.
Oh, I found all the serious lines.
It was like the Daleks threatened them or something, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That was like a good line.
It's a bit cringy.
No,
Mm.
Kinda cringe, bro.
It was
was-
kind of cringe, bro.
I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it was. I feel very neutral. Like I don't have strong feelings one way or the other.
I don't think I'm ever
I
going to
watched
rewatch
them all
it
over
ever
the
again.
No.
I could do with none
Yeah.
of that in my mind ever again. I'll be alright.
But we're
I
gonna
think-
watch the rest.
Gonna watch the rest, but if
We'll
I
do
didn't
an
do this
episode on
podcast, I
it.
probably wouldn't watch
Yeah.
the rest of it.
We'll go
Yeah.
into depth into what? We'll go in deeper.
We'll go into
it.
depth.
We'll go into depth
Go into that.
into the
court
Dalek
case.
series 8 episode 2. And we'll talk about like the behind the scenes stuff, the reason why it looks so shit, and also what the rest of the series does, because I have a feeling there's obviously some kind of arc that they're setting up, and there's more characters like
The
Joe Suggs.
archive.
Like Joe Suggs.
So yeah, we'll do an episode on that. It might be probably how many episodes are there? Is the
6.
6? Okay, so probably in 6 more episodes of this, then we'll probably have a dedicated thing to it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what I found was really missing from it was the fact that everyone was a robot, and it was just robots talking to each other statically from in a room.
Actually, Dan, the Daleks are cyborgs.
They're actually mutants in a traveling shell.
They're actually called Kalins.
No.
Dan's vibrator just going off there.
Oh, we're
That's
doing
not-
instruments.
that was the sound. That was the sound Dan makes when he comes.
I can't show my mum this episode.
Where's
What?
You
Keep
show your
saying,
mum
"Can I
any of
see
the
your podcast?"
episodes?
And I'm like, well, not really, because it's horrible.
I don't have an instrument, but no.
I don't have an instrument either.
Yeah. I've not told my parents about this, not because I don't want them to listen,
You
just because I think it's rubbish.
Yeah.
My mum doesn't even like Doctor Who, so I wouldn't tell her.
And my mum doesn't even like me, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's
My mum doesn't like you either, Dan.
Neither does mine.
Your mum loves
Thinks
me.
Oh,
Thinks you're a bad
Daleks!
influence, Dan.
Exclamation mark! What a show!
Shobocast exclamation mark. What a show.
What a
Said no word.
13 minutes. And
Cameron's
47
being
seconds.
awfully quiet. Did you enjoy it?
Awfully quiet, Cameron.
Didn't even notice
I
that.
said my thoughts about it at the start.
Did
Say
you?
them again.
You just weren't listening.
Because we
I
were
thought
talking
you'd
about it.
have a bit more to say other than...
I only watched 7 minutes of it.
What?
Yeah.
I couldn't
Didn't even
watch anymore.
finish it?
I didn't enjoy the writing because it just
No.
seemed like, yes, it does sound like Big Finish, but it was just very slow and it didn't get into the story.
It was like...
And
It
so,
was... Sorry, go on.
And just with like how it's just like Daleks and then a robot, that just a really dull voice, and then Daleks and then the dull voice.
Yeah.
It
And
reminded
I
me
just
of...
couldn't listen to more.
In GCSE drama, when we had to write our own little scenes and talk to each other and like really set like an interrogation or something, it reminded me of that. Like just really bad, like
Written by children.
written by children. Yes. Not good.
Suck
No.
on that, Nicholas Briggs.
Yeah.
He's not the writer, is he?
I don't know, actually.
Produced it, though.
He produces
It
everything.
sounds really good, and it's cool that they've given us this free thing.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah, we're saying all of this, but it is just available for free.
it's cool that it
It's a-
exists. It's not, you know.
It's a nice gesture, but we hate everyone involved.
It's
They're the
an-
worst people
No.
And
ever.
hope they personally die.
It's a nice gesture. It just looks bad,
Yeah,
and it was. Yeah. Let's move on.
we should.
We should
So-
move on.
To the
Big
main topic.
Finish.
Yeah,
they-
speaking of
they-
Nicholas Briggs,
They take
Yes.
all my money all the time. And
stop giving it them then.
no.
They're not taking it from you.
Yeah.
Paul.
Don't
Well-
play the victim.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah,
when
we-
literally they announce, Big Finish can just announce we've got something coming tomorrow, and Paul's like, pre-ordered it already. Pre-ordered it. You're gonna get it.
I sold my cat.
I'm
I
not
need
that
anyone.
Oh, lad,
Like-
I just sold my cat, and now I've got a War Doctor box set, but it's fine.
Yeah, so we're going to
We're
talk
doing
about Big Finish today. It's something I've wanted to for a while, but never actually got into.
We're going to take Dan's Big Finish virginity.
Yeah, you're going to take me on a wild journey of
Big Finish, we love popping cherries.
and we can sell that slogan to them for £1 million.
Yeah.
So what I want to get out of this episode
Little list.
is a little list. I just want places to start for various things.
Yes.
Um,
Well, I've got some
well,
good ones for that, but we'll
okay.
go. Paul, Cameron, and me.
mhm.
And this is in no particular order. This isn't our. I guess it is just our. It's ones that we like. It's not. Here's my 5th favorite. Here's my 4th favorite. We're not doing that again. It's just.
Yeah.
These are ones we like, and you should give them a
It's
listen.
ones I've listened to.
Oh, so it doesn't have to be 5.
It can be.
Oh God!
Just
we've let Paul
don't
loose.
be ridiculous. Aim for
'Cause
about
I have-
5. I've got a short
I
list here
have-
of about 6.
I have 10.
Yeah, no, trim that down.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, but then you said it doesn't have to be 5.
No, it doesn't have to be in an order of top 5. It's just 5 that you like.
Well, it's going to be then.
Oh
Frig.
no!
So, Paul, you're number 5.
1 second.
Okay,
Well,
Cameron.
should we
I'm
do
not
an
familiar with that
overview?
one.
Should we do an overview of Big Finish first then?
No.
Yeah, for people who don't
Okay.
know what Big Finish is. Even though we mention it every episode.
There's
and-
no
Well,
way
I mean-
people are listening to this and thinking, what is Big Finish? If
Well,
if
no-
you've
not-
come
not-
to this episode of the Shobocast to start listening to Big Finish, you need to look
Well,
somewhere else.
not so much
Reevaluate your
a like. This is what Big Finish is. More. I don't know what I was going to say there.
What the different ranges are.
Yeah, it's just like for Big Finish for me.
Heavy.
It's something I really, really like the idea of. Especially because there's a few doctors in the middle that don't really get a lot of love. So 6, 7, and 8. 8 particularly.
4 as well.
Oh yeah. No
he's
one. No one really
criminally
talks about
underrated.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Can't believe he only got like 7 years as the Doctor.
One of those iconic performances in all of sci-fi. It's like, no, he didn't really.
Didn't really get time to shine.
But yeah, it's like a place for particularly the 8th Doctor to shine.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant
With
thing.
With the 4th Doctor, he really comes into his own when you get into the Nest Cottage Chronicles.
Ah, yes.
The what now?
Which isn't Big Finish.
We mentioned this in episode 1 of
Yeah,
our
so-
podcast. Yeah.
Do you remember Tom Baker refused to return to the show? He was your average Christopher Eccleston.
Oh yeah.
And he agreed to return for his own audio series, not by Big Finish, but by BBC. And it was the 4th Doctor never regenerated, and he went to live in a cottage in the countryside and solve crimes.
Oh, I remember that.
We have spoken
That
about
was
it.
what brought Tom Baker back. Imagine the Christopher Eccleston box set comes out,
Yeah.
He's
Next
just
year.
solving crimes.
and he's
in the
just
country.
living in the countryside. Oh,
No, he's just living in Manchester, in Salford, solving
It's
crimes.
just after
He's
the
just wandering around Salford shouting about the monarchy.
It's
Yeah.
just after the Time
He's
War.
walking around Heaton
And he's
Park.
like, right to Manchester.
So he's just picking up litter in Heaton Park. That would be his version.
Lad, I said to me mate the other night, imagine you're walking through the park and you're drunk, and your last can of beer just falls from your grasp, your drunken grasp, and then from the void ahead, out charges Christopher
From the
Eccleston.
shrubbery.
Yeah, out charges Christopher Eccleston at full speed, and he's like,
Get
"Pick
in the
that liquor
church!
now," and then he's like, "I hope the planet turns around and shits on you." And then it turns out you're in Heaton Park, and he murders you.
Damn. You see the sign for
That
Heaton
was how I
Park.
died.
Yeah.
Beware the Eccleston.
Christopher
Yeah.
Eccleston is
Warning,
here.
Wild Eccleston. Drive carefully. So yeah, Big Finish.
So,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but the sheer amount of stuff is very intimidating. So it is hard to find a place to start. I think the way to look at it is you've got your 8th Doctor stuff. That's like the go-to range,
Yeah.
which is like the first 50 or so. Because I think which one is the Greyest number 50? I think. I don't know.
that's like the 20s or something like that.
Is
I
it?
don't know. Oh, I'm not sure whether it's in terms of like other Doctors as well.
I think other
like,
Doctors do. Yeah, but you get
it's
like you
20 or
basically
so.
get your Doctors 5, 6, 7, and 8 for quite a while, and then shit happens, tat happens, and we end up today with Stranded and bloody Class and
Stranded,
Torchwood and
actually pretty
Captain
good.
Jack dressed as the 6th Doctor, and it just gets ridiculous.
That's one of the best.
And what were they called? Lightfoot and
Yeah,
Jagan
Jagan
Light-
and yeah,
Yeah.
Benny Summerfield.
Bernie
Oh, yeah.
Summerfield, yeah. Yeah, we've
Um,
got
just Big
the
Finish
best-
just going, we'll make anything out of anything now.
basically.
But not a Linda box set. Outraged, Dan.
Does anyone want that?
It's
Yeah.
just them doing
Stories.
ELO rehearsals. I'd love,
Musical
I'd love a
Linda.
tape of that.
But
But yeah, but there's some really fun ones. There's some musical ones. There's
I did
some
not
know that.
what?
there's some multi-doctor ones. There's some that actually play with the idea of being an audio drama. It is a really interesting way of getting a bit more of certain Doctors in a really new, interesting way, and a lot of it is free. A lot of the stuff on my list you can get for free, or you would have been able to get for free. I don't know if you still can now.
You can't anymore. So fuck
Paul,
you. So
let's just throw one out there.
for a
Take me on a
start,
journey, Paul.
I'd say just whatever you like. Just you know what I mean. Like when
Is that your number one on the list?
Oh, when I
Just whatever
started,
you want.
I bought the Doom Coalition and then listened to like one episode and then I stopped. But then they announced the Class was getting a box set, so I listened to all of that. And then nothing for like a year, and then this year I've just spent all my money on it. That was in like 2018 though, like 2019 too. But this isn't like a proper recommendation. This isn't like a proper audio. This is a short trip.
Oh.
It's where the it's like the basic, like an audio book basically, more than an audio drama. So someone's written a story like they would an actual short story, and then someone is reading it out like yeah, you know what I mean. So this one is one of the Time Lord Victorious ones, if you believe that. But which
Bloody
is
hell.
Got a weekly dose in of Time Lord Victorious.
it's not really connected to Time Lord Victorious at all though, like the actual story. So it's
So like most of Time Lord Victorious then.
Yeah. It's called Master Thief, and it's about the Roger Delgado master breaking into. It's like a time heist. He breaks into the bank, and there's like people in the bank that are like
Bankers.
There were people in the bank. What a shock!
What?
But I'll
Having a
read.
bank.
I'll read the description because I am terrible at this. The master wants to plunder one of the most secure vaults in the universe, the repository. He's got a plan and a deadly new weapon to the system. However, as the master quickly discovers, getting in might be easy, but getting away with it might cost him everything.
Ooh.
And
There seems to be a lot of most secure banks in the universe in Doctor Who, doesn't there?
Carabraxos.
There's several of them.
Yeah. They're all the most secure.
Every single one is the most secure.
Yeah, so that is very, very good. Like, because I haven't listened to many short trips because it's not as good as natural audio. But I listened to that because it was part of the time
In a bundle.
Victorious. And I've listened to a couple of the competition winners, but I haven't listened to anything else.
Mm.
So I can't recommend more short trips really. But that one was very, very good.
I've
Like,
got quite a
just
few
as a
short
story.
trips that I've just never listened to.
So what
I've
are
got
short
one.
trips then, as a
So
format?
It's literally
Just like
it's about
briefly.
40 minutes long,
Uh-huh.
and it's like someone reading out a short story.
It's like a narrated
Well,
thing.
Yeah.
Right,
So
okay.
like in terms of this, it's what's his name?
John Coleshaw.
John Coleshaw reads it out in an impression of Roger Delgado, so it's like he's telling you like the master's telling you this story. So that one's very good, I'd say.
I've heard
And
some
it's-
creepy stuff about John Coleshaw, but his impressions are impeccable.
Oh really?
Mm.
Oh no.
But his impressions are good, so
Yeah.
that excuses it all.
Oh no.
Carry
I
on.
don't know what any of these creepy things are, by the way. So yeah,
Okay.
I'll now be recommending 5 more things because I weren't going to recommend that, but then I thought that it's different than your average recommendation. So Cameron,
So I've not listened to much Big Finish, so this is mostly just the ones I have listened to. Torchwood, Aliens Among Us.
I've heard
Because
about this so much, and I've no idea what it is.
it is basically Torchwood Series 5. And
sorry,
so it's
what's it called?
Aliens Among Us.
Oh yeah, it is Torchwood Series 5. Yeah. You got it all. Like the
I've only
whole-
got episode 1 because it was on offer the other month.
Oh, right.
I've not got the rest of it yet. But it's set after Miracle Day.
Mhm.
It's got a new Torchwood team with Jack and Gwen, with someone who is a civil servant helping from the British government, unofficially though. And there's some weird killer robots in Cardiff because it's Torchwood. What the fuck else is there going to be? And it
Well,
basically,
if you've seen season 4, Cameron.
yeah, it continues the story of Torchwood, but in a way that was only available to them at the time. And it's got like, I think it's written by Russell T Davies as well, or has his
Oh, really?
creative input.
He created the characters in it, but he didn't write it. From what I've heard.
Details. Yeah. But it's very good, and that's all I can say, really.
I've wanted
Episode
to,
1 is good, I can't speak for the rest of it.
I've wanted to get into them for ages because at the start, when I watched Torchwood at the start of the year, when I finished it, I bought loads of Torchwood on Big Finish, and it was all dead good. But so like, there's a box set called Believe, which is like 3 episodes, and it's like a mini series. But then like the actual series 5 and 6 are all 4 box sets long, and it'd be like 180 quid to buy both series. So I've never bought them. But they do like monthlies as well.
Yeah. Dan.
Ah, right, okay. So I'm just checking SoundCloud at the moment because this one I'm pretty sure. Yep, it's on SoundCloud still. This is a free thing they just put up and said there you go. So you can still I listened to this years ago, but you can still find it now. And it's called Cuddlesome. And I've spoken to Paul about this and he's shaking his head.
It's not even Big Finish, is it?
It is. It's a Big Finish. It's a Fifth Doctor story. It's quite an early one, and it's free to listen to, and it's so fun. I won't like spoil it too much, but you know the what are those fucking things called? Let me just.
Doctor Who.
No,
Ogron.
you know those like furry, like toys that are like robots inside, and they like speak to
Oh,
kids. and stuff?
Pods.
Furbies.
What?
Furbies.
I've literally just googled furry toy, and
Furby.
a picture of the
no.
exact thing I'm on about has come up. It's the fucking Furby, yeah. And it's essentially
Like Bebo on Legends of Tomorrow, but equally shit.
it's basically Furbies, but they're actually run by an organization that seeks world domination.
And
Oh,
Furby's
no.
arm.
And it's quite cool. And the Doctor, you get the Doctor just turning up at someone's house. I think he crashes into their greenhouse. I can't quite remember, or their shed.
That's quite common with the Doctor, isn't it?
And he
Crashing into someone's house.
he just like meets this woman, whose son has got one, and they go on the adventure together, and it's quite interesting. There's a proper creepy guy, Mr. Turvy, and all of the little Furby,
Mr. Turby.
all the little Furby things call him Daddy Turvy. It's very weird. Dan's looking shocked but aroused.
This is.
It's similar to how we call Dan Daddy Shinks behind the scenes.
It is a
really,
bit like
Yeah,
that.
that's what everyone calls me.
the master. But yeah, it's a good one. And also, when I first heard this, I'd watched quite a bit of Classic Who. But I still wasn't that keen on the Fifth Doctor, mainly because of his TARDIS team and stuff. And seeing him stripped away from that, and just with this new person, I can listen to this thing over and over again just for the Fifth Doctor because it's really good. So yeah, Cuddlesome, give that a listen, you turds.
Okay.
Paul.
So speaking of the Doctor crashing into roofs. I don't know. And I don't mean timeless child doctors, but the light at the end.
Oh shit.
Is very, very, very good.
Mm.
The main Doctor I'd say is the 8th Doctor and Charlie. And Charlie is probably my favourite 8th Doctor companion.
She's great.
However, I've not really seen the others.
So this
Look at this beautiful
this
book.
was a 50th anniversary thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the
was,
Big
yeah.
Finish
I
50th anniversary.
actually
was the
listened to
day of the
this
Doctor
in the
Big
car
Finish.
once when we went down to London, and we listened to the whole thing all the way there, and it was fun. I don't remember anything that happened, but I remember it being good. The theme tune is really out of sync, though. It really annoys me.
So
Wonderful.
I actually quite enjoy the theme tune.
It's
So-
not bad.
so,
It's just the drums and the bass line stuff just don't match. It's like, what is going on here?
Basically, the 8th Doctor lands in like a village, an alien village, with a species that doesn't exist, and basically, a big laser comes down and annihilates everyone, and then he realizes that he's not in a village and it's like a weapons factory, and it's like a simulation room to test the weapon for a buyer. And then all the other doctors are also there at a specific, like, they keep trying to leave, and the time vortex throws them back.
Well, it's all the other Doctors, as in all the Big Finish ones.
No.
No,
Well,
yeah.
It's like
all-
4 to 8.
the first the first 8.
Oh, really? They're not on
yeah.
the cover.
One, yeah, because they're done by impressionists. But when they're there, but they're not part of the main gang. They're like, so basically 4 to 8 are off. Like they eventually meet up and start working together, and basically 1 to 3 all meet up and they're working together separately from the others. So every now and again, I think they're out of sync. So you hear like echoes of them, and they're doing their thing, like in the background, because obviously it's not actually them. And then the main
William
Doctor
Russell,
doing their
Fraser Himes, and Tim Treelor again as the first, second, and third Doctors, respectively.
Yeah, and then
Interesting.
basically the Master's trying to buy a weapon from that place to wipe out the Doctor's entire timeline. Name of the Doctor style, sort of. But yeah, it's very, very good. And honestly, like all the companions, I didn't know the Sixth Doctor's companion Perry had an American accent, so that was horrible to listen to. But apart from that, I don't mean the American accents in general, but like when it's just British people and then an American that isn't fucking John Barrowman, it just sounds like a nightmare. But yeah,
So
other than that, one of the best, I'd say.
I did know about this one. It's
Yeah.
like one of the few Big Finish I know about. And I thought there would be more to that sentence, but it got away from me.
It was a limited edition release that was recently, but back on sale at a reduced price, so you could buy the physical copy of only like 1 of 1,000, 10,000, I think.
10,000.
10,000 is quite a lot.
And like,
Yeah, that's why they've
people
still got
both
it
this
7
week,
years later.
and we're only in the 3,000s.
Yeah.
So there's
We've
quite
got
a lot of
to
these out there, apparently.
we've got to give Cameron props here, because even though this isn't a traditional episode, he's managed to fit in the trivia segment.
Yeah.
And you also have it within arm's reach.
I was thinking that's what I thought Dan was going to praise you for. Got to give a special shout out to someone in the comments of the Big Finish. Comments when they announced that it was going to be half price 7 years later. And he was like, well, that's me cancelling my pre-order of the Masterful limited edition release. I'm not paying full price when I can wait 7 years and get a half price.
Some people are like that. Some people are that tight that they would rather wait 7 years.
He was like, this just ruins it for the people who paid full price 7 years ago.
Nothing shall ever be on sale ever again.
I bought the digital for half price, like Jordan Lockdown, for like £6, because this was like 50 quid and I didn't want to pay 50 quid. And then when they made it half price, I was like, I'm having that. And then I seen that guy and I was like, what a fool.
I paid full price.
That's what made me buy it.
I paid full price for this bread last week, and now you've put it on half price as it's about to go off. This has ruined it for all the people who paid half price for the bread.
I wish I'd never had that toast. No.
The War Master Beneath the Viscoid.
Oh,
that's on my list as well.
That was almost on my list,
Well,
but it's not quite.
This is on my list, so yeah, let's chat about that.
Yeah, it's Derek Jacobi. It's one of his first Big Finish ones as the War Master, I believe.
Yeah. It's the first in his box set series.
It's the first part of Only the Good.
Yeah.
And it can be listened fully on its own and enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's not like a complete lead into another one.
On its own, it was nearly in my top 5, but then there's one later on in that same box set that just took it.
Is it the third one?
And
because I've heard loads of good things about that. Sorry, go on, Cameron.
Yeah, and the name is sort of like a play on the War Doctors, Only the Evil or something.
Only the
bad.
Only the monstrous.
Only the mean.
Oh, see, normally I have everything within arm's reach during this.
You just grabbed it.
Because it's Big Finish.
I didn't think you did physical copies, Paul, but you've got quite a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I get them all in physical.
The fuck?
That's why it costs you so fucking much.
If it's like if it's a monthly one like the 8th Doctor ones, I get it digitally.
I've got two
But
of the
if it's-
two of the stories. I think I will mention them in a bit. I've got them on CD. I don't know where they were. I was going to leave them here as like a little thing on my desk, but I can't find them. So
But
Yeah, if it's a box set, I always get it physically. But
yeah, there's not much I can say about the War Master Beneath the Viscoid because I just kept getting distracted by Derek Jacobi's voice.
Derek Jacobi, classic.
So, actually, yeah, Derek Jacobi, that's something that I want to ask about. So presumably him becoming the War Master, the implication here is that he was the incarnation of the Master throughout the Time War.
Yes.
So is what they're implying is that the War Doctor and the War Master at no point ever met each other?
Well, what they had a plan for John Hurt and Derek Jacobi to do an audio together, but John Hurt died.
But wouldn't
that would
David
delay
Tennant-
that quite a bit, yeah.
No. Yeah, well,
wouldn't David Tennant have recognised him?
I
in
always think
Utopia.
this, and then he's met the Eighth Doctor as well twice now. So
Yeah.
That's
Canon.
so, and did they never explain?
I think what it is, it's a classic case of the old memory loss.
It's a classic case of Doctor Who.
Or,
Like, just
I
don't
think-
try and piece it together.
No.
I think it might be something like the War Doctor, like the Doctor tries to shut all his memories from the Time War away to the point
Something
where.
to do with that bit in
That's
Day
a
of the Doctor
cop-out.
where they
That
changed
is
their own
cop-out.
history.
Well, Dan, it's all a cop out when you're listening to Big Finish and River meets a Doctor and
It's-
she loses a memory at the end, and then they.
It's all a cop out when you listen to Shobocast.
Yeah, but
What does that mean?
funny thing,
I do not know.
that'll be the next profile picture I make. But
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Beneath the Viscoid, very good story. The Master gets a companion for a bit of it that ends in how you expect with the Master having a companion.
Yeah, we're really trying not to spoil this. There's a scene in particular where he does a very classic Master thing, and when you realise it's happening, it's so cool.
It's just like you go. I went a bit giddy. It's just like, oh, this is happening. This is brilliant.
I was mowing the lawn when I was
What the
doing.
fuck?
Yeah, seriously, I listened to half of it like at night, and then I was falling asleep. I was like, okay, I'll listen to this tomorrow. I was
Time to
mowing the
mow the
lawn, and it's one of those where you let stuff just you're waiting for it to completely unwind and chaos to just occur. You just know it's going to explode at the end with just so many things happening. It's kind of like Utopia in that way. You know that something's up, and then you realise what's got to happen, and you just get this insane rush at the end with everything happening. And I just really distinctly remember mowing the lawn and having to stop because I was like, oh my god, this is really good. People just looking at me like, why is he not mowing the lawn?
I was playing
Lazy shit.
Hitman.
in some big finishes, it's like the last 5 minutes that really make the episode.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
so, like the death of Captain Jack. I was listening to that like in the bath, but I weren't too like fussed on it. And then in the last 5 minutes, something happened, and I was like, "This might be my favourite one." Yeah, I was like, but yeah, like with the War Master, Russell told Big Finish when they asked him, he was like, "Oh, but he weren't the Master during the Time War," and they were like, "Well, what if at the end he becomes a baby?" And Russell was like, "Go on then." And Russell said, "I'd rather find a reason why you can do it than look for reasons why you can't."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the attitude
So he
to
was-
have. I think when you've defined something and people want to mess around with it a bit.
Yeah,
As much as it doesn't make sense that he was Derek Jacobi during the war.
Yeah.
Finding a reason to an excuse to just do more
Get Derek
Derek
Jacobi.
Jacobi. I can get behind that.
Yeah,
yeah. So the box set ends very well, I reckon. But then there's also 5 more series after it, and it ends like when the Master's a child, like he is in Utopia. So like the other 6 box sets or 5 box sets now were just set in between the first one. You're like fucking done
Well,
yourself in here.
you also get you know how we talked a bit before when we were talking about Daleks exclamation mark the Daleks that are they have a slight personality to them rather
Yeah,
than
there's a
just
lot of
shouting orders. There is one in that story, I think it's the commander or whatever, or the pilot has a little bit of a personal thing.
I've
and
seen
yeah,
that with Briggs. He deliberately, depending on the story, will do the Daleks as either the classic voice or the modern voice.
So this is kind of a blend of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite
And
clever.
so, like, the McGann Time War stuff, because obviously it would have been both of them, he, like, merges or does either or.
We also get...
Because he did that in an interview in a story I also have in my list later.
We also get
Unless
underwater Daleks as well, which is cool.
That is cool.
They sound really cool. I think they just write...
Underwater Daleks.
So yeah, Beneath the Viscoid. That's my 2 cents on that.
Beneath the Viscoid.
And now your story itself.
Oh yes. So
Because we both talked about that one.
It's no secret on this show here that I'm a bit of a simp for Trial of a Time Lord. That too. I love Trial of a Time Lord. I think it's really, really good. So this one, I don't think it comes directly after. It sort of does. This is Trial of the Valiard, which is one that I picked up from like Forbidden Planet on a whim.
Does it have Mr. Popplewick in?
A couple of years ago. What?
Does it have Mr. Popplewick in?
What do you mean?
What's that?
Mr. Popplewick, the character from Trial of the Time Lord, who's played by a guy from Heartbeat with massive sideburns.
Call yourself a fan, Dan. You watch this like every day.
Oh, right, got you.
He's implied that he is a version of the Valiard.
No, he's not in it. It takes place mainly with just the Gallifreyan Council. So basically, I'm trying to not spoil this, but also make it sound remotely interesting. The Sixth Doctor gets to meet you know how they say the Valiard is, it basically gets to do, you know how the Valiard isn't quite clear what it was about, and the more the show does with other stuff, the more relevant it becomes, especially now that we've got a whole new life cycle of the Doctor, and we've learned about the Timeless Child and stuff. The Valiard's a bit like, what the fuck was that about? But if you listen to this audio after you've seen Trial, it's it does neaten up things a bit and goes a little bit deeper into him, not literally, and Six gets to meet what is essentially the 11th Doctor, or the final incarnation, who's gone completely mad, and he's just scribbling stuff down and he's talking gibberish. And I remember listening to that and thinking that this is the weirdest show and the weirdest like fictional universe ever, because only could you do that with an audio drama, and it actually kind of makes sense. It was just one of those things where you stop and you listen to it and you're like, what is actually, like, how the hell do I enjoy this? But it's really fun. And if you like Trial of a Time Lord like me, it's like a little bit of icing on the cake. So that's why I recommend that to anyone listening, but not to Dan, because he'd probably jump out of a window.
Well,
Paul.
Yeah, that's another thing. I dislike the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah,
Well
and you're
done.
wrong, so carry on.
You are wrong.
Just this, I don't like him. His hair's silly.
Have you seen all of his run?
I haven't seen any of it.
I've barely seen any of it.
Right.
I'd
say just give him a chance.
Yeah, I would
But
say
he
I
does
would,
seem like a knobhead.
I'm very aware I'm basing my opinion on him off barely anything.
Off just Colin Baker, actually.
Yes.
Change, Marius.
So, like,
Yeah.
another thing I like Big Finish existing is basically you just give Colin Baker a chance to do a good Doctor.
To shine
Well-
more.
Dan,
Yes, yeah.
I've only seen the Sixth Doctor in, I think, The Light at the End, and
You've seen him in that. That's impressive.
yeah,
He was there when they recorded it.
I was like, "Hello, Colin, you fast," but no, I'm joking.
What?
But
Yes,
Very
my
well.
boy.
in classic Doctor's New Monsters, he has an episode with the Jadoon, and it's very good. Listen to it. Might change your mind, but that's not my recommendation.
Also Jubilee.
I've not listened to that yet.
I've heard that's a very, very good
Do
one.
it. Yeah, no, Sixth Doctor in Big Finish is just chef's kiss. So Paul, go on, what was your next one?
So, also from Only the Good, the first War Master box set, It's called The Skyman by James Goss, and it's a War Master light episode, I'd say.
Yeah, it
It's more
focuses on
focused
his new
his
companion, doesn't
companion.
it?
So the Master saves this lad in episode 2, who was meant to die. So he's like a paradox, basically, like a walking paradox, because he should be
Yeah.
dead. So then the guy decides that he wants to save a planet from the Time War, and the Master's like, "Well, choose one," and he's like, "Well, you can't make me choose one, because then I'm letting others die." And he's like, "Fine, then we'll let them all die." And then he picks one at random, dead quick, and it's like a farm planet.
That's it.
And then he gets there, and there's nothing wrong with it. He basically thinks the Daleks are going to come and destroy it, and then it turns out it's like, I forgot what it's called, like, but anyway, so some like time leakage gets onto the planet, and start the people and the plants and the crops start dying. Time decay, it's called. And then, so this guy wants to save them, and he falls in love with a girl there. And the War Master's on the planet. The War Master is a delight in this story. Yeah, he's just off in the background. Doesn't have any. He says he's not getting involved, so he leaves the man to his own devices, and he goes and makes wine on a grape farm throughout the whole
I heard about
story.
this. Yeah.
And it's just delightful. And then every now and again he'll pop in and he'll be like, "Oh no, I can't interfere, but someone's left you some food in the shed."
Yeah.
And then he'll just disappear. And there's a bit where some villagers go to him dead angry because they think he's causing what's going on around them. And they're like, "Oh, we should rip you to shreds." And he's like, "Oh, well, that seems like a good idea." And then you hear them just screaming in the background like he's literally like ripping them to shreds like a dog or something. And you're like, "Wow." It's just... But yeah, the main focus of the story is the companion and the consequences of his actions. And then that leads into the last story in a way that, like, you just wouldn't believe. Like, the Master's just playing him like a fiddle. And,
The Master always plays everyone like fiddle.
Exactly.
He's always at least 10 steps ahead. It's mad.
Yeah,
And
like,
he always
that
dresses
incarnation.
for the
I
occasion.
literally just thought nothing was happening. Like, well, obviously, I love this story, so something was happening, but I thought the Master's just having a little laugh, having a joke, and then at the end, he's like, "I've done you so bad." But yeah, Dan, get on it. It's like a mate. That old box set's just good, yeah.
Yeah, I think we can safely say, because we've brought it up twice now, Only the Good is a really good, solid chunk of something to start with.
Even the second episode, it's good, but it was a bit like the first one where the Master turns up somewhere being invaded by the Daleks and he's pretending to be someone else, and you're like, yeah. But then after that, it's smooth sailing. Yeah, so
He's pretending to be the Doctor, isn't he?
in the first one, and then in the second one, he's just pretending to be like a doctor, like just on the ship. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm your medical advisor." Yeah. So your turn. Okay.
Already sort of mentioned part of it, but the Time Lord Victoria's Big Finish stuff. Because basically, if you had to pick one thing from Time Lord Victorious, I would recommend all the Big Finish stuff. Because it's 8th Doctor mostly, there's going to be a 4th Doctor bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just well written, it's got more Paul McGann, it's got Brian the Ood,
Always a good thing.
who
Classic
I
man.
wasn't expecting much from them, but it's actually quite funny.
Very
Just like this well-spoken Ood assassin who has this weird connection with his ball. That sounds wrong out of context.
Don't we all?
He's so sinister, and he calls his little sphere Mr. Ball.
Yeah.
He's proper like insane.
He is insane and evil, and like sees the Doctor as his like heroing. Well, that's this sort of when he meets the 10th Doctor in the book, but as this warring general, which we're sort of learning why he knows him as that in the book through this.
Is this the first book?
Yeah.
Wait, so in the first book is the book set after this audio? Because I thought
it depends on your outlook. For Brian, the book comes after the audios.
That's what I mean, because I thought I don't want to spoil it.
Because he says in the book that he's already been inside the TARDIS and stuff, and the 10th Doctor's just like, oh, you could have at least played along.
in the audios, at the end of the audio, he falls into.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought he was dead, but if he's, I thought the book was set before that.
No.
But no. Oh, yeah. I haven't finished the book either. I'm like 6 chapters in.
But yeah, because they're sort of all of the same thing, I thought I'd include Time Lord Victorious as one thing, including the short trips. I think there's still a bit more to come out with it because there's the 4th Doctor story that was to do with the escape room, but why open an escape room during coronavirus pandemic?
Why open an
priorities.
escape room?
Well, you can still go to them. My parents do it a lot.
Yeah, you just.
We don't want to know about how much your parents do it, Dan.
Oh, I feel a little bit ill.
Anyway, speaking of sex,
Always at it like a rabbit.
I don't know. I'm gonna segue
Dan,
this.
your one. because-
I'm gonna be completely obvious and say spare parts. Yep, Paul's nodding in agreement, and Cameron's doing a weird
alright, yeah.
face.
It was. I was liking spare parts, and then the ending was just a bit like, oh, all right.
Yeah, so it's one of those where
But it was.
it's
very
not
sinister.
perfect. Is it overrated? I don't think so. I think it's loved for the right reasons.
Oh, it's definitely like a good genesis of the Cyberman type.
It is literally, yeah, it's Genesis of the Cybermen with the 5th Doctor and Nyssa.
Is it as good as The World Enough in Time? That's where
I enjoy this more than that TV story because I don't enjoy the Doctor Falls as much as the previous part.
I'll kill you.
But you can't really compare them that much. But there are some really cool ideas, and the artwork.
Yeah.
If you look at the artwork closely, you can see some really cool. You can see like Commander Zheng, is it on a horse that's partly converted?
Oh, are
And
you
it's
looking
like
at
it's like a cyber
the
horse.
vinyl cover?
Yeah.
That is an amazing cover.
And it's like
£50.
there's a family in it that are all developed really well, and there's like really believable people like just getting a chest unit because it's a thing that you can get because it improves your health. It's a bit like having a
Pacemaker.
Yeah, it's just like that, and it's just like a society that they're not constantly down with the conditions they're living in. They're just like, right, we just got to keep going, and this is how we live.
They also live underground, don't they?
Yep.
Like that's part.
Well, there's a ceiling above the city, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So like this, it's like dying or something, isn't it? So they have to live underground.
they're trying to get out of it. It's Mondas,
Is it
isn't
Mondas?
it? Yeah.
Is
So
it-
they're trying to get to the surface, and obviously they can only survive on the surface if they're converted.
So that's like the leading thing.
It's really interesting. There's that character, Mr. Todd, is it? Who works in that shop, and he's like eyeing up the Doctor, and he's figuring out what parts the Doctor's got that he could have, and there's some really creepy stuff in there.
It's very cheap as well. It's $2.99.
Oh yeah.
Get it.
'cause it's just a monthly one, isn't it? It's like
Yeah, no,
like,
absolutely. If it's
monthly
that
ones
cheap, get it.
especially are dead cheap, and sometimes they put the part price for like $150.
There's I don't want to spoil it, obviously, but you get introduced to Yvonne,
Who?
and then Yvonne,
From Doomsday.
I
no,
thought that
just
was
a
like
woman called
Shade.
Yvonne, and
Okay.
she suffers a horrible fate, and you learn
Oh,
about
no.
that eventually, and it's really sad. It gets me that.
Might have to listen to this. I forgot everything that happens.
And people, you have to re-listen to it. There's people who like cybermats are kind of treated like pets more than like. It's really interesting that because they're kind of like, you know how people repair phones and stuff like that, and old
Yeah.
TVs and then sell them on and stuff like that. There's like cybermats are treated a bit like that, but they're also treated as like actual pets. But they're also treated a bit like robot, rats, like rodents. So that's quite interesting. Just like the idea that they just live with everyone, and people kind of put up with them. Nissa's great in it. That's how you get to meet this family, is because there's this whole obsession with don't be out after dark because they send the patrols out. It's very 1984.
I know. That's easy.
It's really cool.
I've put the cover in the server if you want to look.
Yeah,
at
have a look at that cover because it is gorgeous.
I've been googling all of them. Oh, that's a different cover that's on the Big Finish website.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. So this is for the vinyl that they
Uh-huh.
released rather than the actual. The vinyl costs about £90.
Jesus.
That horse
The
looks
download
cool.
is £3. Yeah. I also don't have a vinyl because I'm not pretentious. So.
I have the player, but it doesn't work. It's on a European plug, and there's something in it broken.
Well, that horse is dead cool.
Well, my vinyl plan is great.
You actually own vinyl players.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's older than me. My dad got it when he was first out in Germany with the army.
Hey,
My mum's
it's
got
just
one.
like
I
the way
only
to
own
listen to
one
music.
vinyl,
It
though.
sounds clearer. It's the
Me
classic
and my flatmate about a year ago invested. It was looking back too much money on that vinyl player. Yeah, so we collect vinyls in the flat because we are dickheads.
I agree. I have a CD player, but I don't use them.
Ah.
These Big Finish CDs are for sure. It's literally to just prove I have it in case my phone ever blows up or something.
There's something
Right,
about
so-
having physical media that's just really nice.
It
Yeah.
is nice.
Even though I listen to it on my phone, I like to look at it.
Yeah.
It's a shame it'll be a thing of the past one day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it will. Books. I don't think
Fuck
books
you,
will ever
Dan.
go away.
Books
Oh,
will-
okay.
I mean, saying that, all of you guys do your things on phones and stuff. I actually write
You
my
do
notes
write
out
a
with
lot.
it.
You do a
Waste
lot
of
on that
paper.
bit.
I write my notes out. I've got notebooks galore.
I haven't
love a
written.
notebook.
I barely.
Got
I've,
one for
I love
Scout
I love a
Scout.
little moleskin notebook. They're very nice notebooks.
Is it made of real moleskin?
No, I think it's just the company name.
I think all I've ever had to write is my signature on stuff in the past 4 years. So since I left
I
school,
just
basically,
enjoy
I've
writing
not had to
because
write anything.
You left
It is
school
writing it-
4 years ago.
Yes, my maths isn't great. Okay.
What did you finish year 11?
Just like writing things.
What?
Oh my god, I left school 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Congratulations on all of you.
Paul,
what
your
is
next story.
Right, so my next story is the invention of death from the First Doctor Adventures,
Nice.
starring David Bradley.
Okay.
So this one proper took me. The First Doctor range by Big Finish, yeah.
What's
it's
it called?
The First Doctor Adventures. Oh, the
No,
story.
yeah.
The invention of death. So, like, the First Doctor's actual episodes can be quite boring. I'm looking at you, the caveman, or whatever it's called.
The
But
man.
yeah. So, but the audios managed to capture the essence of the '60s show without being shit. So, there's a master one that's dead good, even though that master's transphobic in real life. But the invention of death, the Doctor Ian. I'm gonna read the description instead. I lost faith in myself. Better not be a shit description.
Oh, bit of dead air there. We're gonna
Yeah.
get sued.
Dan'll actually cut that out.
I'll just put a fart noise in.
He won't have that.
Or maybe Dan laughing to the long song. I don't know.
Please. So, the invention of death by John Dorney. After an experimental flight, the TARDIS crew. Oh, because they're still trying to work out how to use the TARDIS. Then. The TARDIS crew find themselves in one of the strangest worlds they've ever encountered. Alien life takes many forms, and on Ashtala, the travellers find all their perceptions tested. But this world is about to make a discovery, and it could mean the end of everything. So basically, they arrive on this planet of gelatinous blobs, yeah. And they don't have houses or anything. They just live on the streets. There's only 2 scientists on the entire planet, and that's because they just have a general interest in like how things work. And the Doctor, Ian, and Barbara and Susan arrive, and Barbara gets speared through the chest. So because they can't die and they're just jelly, they throw spears and stuff at each other to play games with, and they've never met another species before. So they throw one to Susan, Barbara, and it just goes right through her chest.
Huh.
And then, as she's dying, one of them manages to heal her. But then they've never died before, and then they start to die, like, more and more. And it's about them trying to figure out why they're dying and how to reverse it and stop them from dying. And honestly, it's very, very good. It's up there with, like, the best I've ever listened to. It's mad how creative these are, like, and they're set in, like, the 60s style as well. They're just so good. And it's with the same cast as An Adventure in Space and Time. Like, the entire cast from there. So, yeah, it's a very, very good story. I've talked to Dan about it before. It's just top tier.
I like that they've been making good use of that cast.
Yeah.
Particularly David Bradley.
Yeah.
And the fact that they can use someone to play Barbara, because that actress has unfortunately also died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But not from eating cake, so...
No, that was only Ian Marter.
Yep. So, Cameron, what's your next pick?
This is actually my last one, because it's the only one I've got a few that I need to still listen to, but I can't talk about them because I've not listened to them. Out of Time 1, which...
Yep.
So this is the David Tennant and Tom
This is
Baker.
the Shobocast reviews video that he's going to be recommending now.
Yeah, basically. Came out earlier on this year, is very good, has the 4th and 10th Doctors facing off against Daleks, which is the interview that came with this where Nick Briggs explains why he does all the different Dalek voices. I also really like that the physical thing has an alternative cover.
Yes.
So I can have...
That takes me back to 2008.
It's nicer than... I like it better than that one.
Yeah, no, it suits seeing his Doctor. It matches on there a lot better.
Yeah. And also just like the placement. Because that's at the top.
Yeah.
And then everything seems a bit out of place, but that's at the
This
bottom.
is great content for an audio-only medium.
It seems a bit out of time.
Oh, Paul. Paul's on fire.
The whole gimmick of Out of Time, would you believe it, is everyone's out of sync.
All the audio tracks are out of sync. It's like a Shobocast.
It's an absolute nightmare to listen to.
Literally like this right now. Yeah. So the whole thing, David Tennant's like saying, "I can't do 2 voices at once because I'm not a god." But like David Tennant saying something, Tom Baker's talking over him. There's someone else whose name you don't quite catch because she says it at the same time.
And there's an interview playing underneath all of this from the end.
Oh yeah, the interview's simultaneous.
And the theme tune on repeat. Yeah. It's pure chaos, but it's good.
Pure chaos, but it's very good if you're an intellectual. It's like The Lighthouse.
So this is one I have wanted to get into because it's that whole series is one that really interests me.
Yeah, annoyingly, the next one comes out next year, and then the one after that is another year again, which I didn't realize when I pre-ordered it.
We'll all be dead.
But it's like an interesting premise. It's the 10th Doctor meeting up with 4, 5, and 6.
Sorry, Cameron. Dan, do you want to not sneeze on air? I'm joking.
I'll replace it with a fart noise.
Listen, I'm a bit sniffly. A bit of a cold.
And it does play well into like the different dynamics. So the 10th Doctor bits where he's on his own, it's written in the sort of style of Penn's era. The 4th Doctor bits where he's on his own, it's written in his style. And then it's just a very good merger of the two when they're together. It's really good. And now we get Dan to do a Tom Baker voice.
No.
Me?
I'll just start recording again. Sorry about that. We had some technical issues on this show. Never.
Oh.
But I'm alright.
Every little master, every little miss.
Having a little
What are you saying about Ian Marter?
Titties. Love that. Love that video. What, are we on to me already?
Yeah.
No shit. This is my last recommendation, really.
Oh.
Not because
I've
of
got,
like.
I've got two more.
Oh, that's all right. It'll be
Well,
quite.
I've got some. I'll have some things to ask you after we've wrapped up with stuff.
Okay. Well, I did put a thing.
Just to wrap up the segment.
I put a thing out seeing if any of our viewers and listeners and stuff have any suggestions, but everyone's read the message and not got back to me, so I think we know how that's gone.
We don't have any viewers or listeners to that.
Okay, what we'll do is I'll chuffing recommend you a ting if that's all right. This is the second.
Oh no, he's lost his mind.
What?
I'm sorry.
This is the second Eighth Doctor audio from that first kind of run, and it's the Chimes of Midnight.
Oh, I've listened to this.
Without spoiling it, brief summary: it's Christmas Eve, big creepy
And the Doctor
house,
dies.
people die every hour. Charlie likes condensed milk. There you go.
But Dan, I think we can both agree. Christmas isn't Christmas
Without one of your.
without Mrs. Whatever's plum pudding.
Yeah, I don't know her name actually. You can't. Christmas isn't Christmas without your
I've
plum
forgotten it.
pudding. Who the fuck is it? What's her name?
It's classic. Mrs.
Christmas will be Christmas without presents. Just quoting Little Women there for you.
Mrs. Badley.
Oh, we've got a feminist in the call today. No joke.
I just love a bit of Little Women. It's great.
The movie
Just-
or the book?
I've only seen the Greta Gerwig film. But,
And also, there's a little bit in Chimes of Midnight. I say a little bit. It's like mainly the climax of the whole thing. It's the Doctor facing consequences for taking Charlie out of time, being his companion when she should have died in the previous story. So you get a really interesting thing there, where it's like, no, this person, a bit like with the War Doctor story you mentioned earlier, Paul.
Yeah.
This
paradox.
person shouldn't be here, and time is gonna really fuck with them to try and get stuff back to normal. But yeah, it's really cool.
It's
Rob
like when
Sherman.
it's like when you go out with your friends and they've invited one of their friends that you don't really know and they're not meant to be there.
Yeah, kind of. I've always been that friend that's not supposed to be there, to be honest.
I've never experienced it. It's a made-up scenario.
Yeah.
But Dan, speaking of period pieces,
Speaking of
movies,
oh yeah,
that do you know the personal history of David Copperfield that came out earlier this year?
yeah.
I'm aware.
One of my favourite movies ever made. Yeah, me and my mate went to see that because there was literally fuck all else on, and we thought it was going to be shit, and then it turned out it was the funniest film I've ever seen.
That's cool.
So-
Speaking of the Chimes of Midnight,
Sorry, Dan, I thought you'd finished.
no, just one more thing to mention. And it's not Christmas isn't Christmas without one of your plum puddings. Though that is true.
That is
This has a really cool thing because it's kind of like a love letter to Doctor Who in general, but it brings in a whole new way of telling a story anyway. Part one, each
Stop it, Dan.
Each
I'm
cliffhanger
sorry.
of the first three parts, because I think it's a 4-parter, they all pay kind of homage to different classic stories from the original run. So part one, the ending is quite similar to the Space Museum. Part two is Kinder, and part three is Horror of Fang Rock. Just a really cool thing there that he did while they were making it. Yeah, let's just make it kind of link back to those. Quite a similar kind of cliffhanger. I'm rambling. Someone take the wheel, please.
So Dan, as I was saying, you can cut this bit out, Dan, because it's relevant.
No.
Oh no.
So
Everything's
actually,
not always
yeah.
relevant.
So at the same time, yeah, there was a film out called Emma. I don't know if you've seen it.
Starring Anna Taylor-Joy and
Yeah.
Bill Nye.
And
It's got Bill Nye in.
me and my mate seen the trailer, and my mate went on a rant about how far apart their eyes were, and we never seen it.
Yeah, definitely cut this out.
Yesterday, I think.
What does this have to do with Doctor Who?
Listen,
Nothing. He's just being mean about Anna Taylor-Joy.
No, I like her. I think she's gorgeous. But and she's a great actress, obviously. And she's great in New Mutants. But so apparently it's hilarious. And I said to my mate yesterday, what are the odds of two movies that look shit and are both period pieces being absolutely hilarious? And he was like, it must have been the golden age of movies that are period pieces based on books that no one thought would be good. So, yeah.
Emma isn't that good of a book, though.
Oh no, I imagine the David Copperfield book is also not good because
Why?
it's so.
Charles Dickens is quite a famous.
Yeah, but the book itself is just so long. You're like, a bit long, Charles. If a book's thicker than a penis, it's too long of a book.
Depends how thick the penis is.
About long length, I mean, not like
Depends how girthy the penis is.
no girthy in the way, but
Well, it depends how long the penis is, then, doesn't it?
Hang on, what the
Exactly.
hell? I just sat back down, put my earphones in. The first thing I hear is depends on how big the penis is.
we talked about you then. But
Thanks.
so anyway, my last two recommendations.
Go on, spill the beans.
Very weird. So, number.
Wait. Where's Cameron gone?
Where is Cameron? He's gone.
Where's Cameron gone?
He's gone to get his penis.
Ah.
Sorry, I thought I had a copy of David Copperfield on my bookshelf.
It was just in that box over there. His penis.
To hand.
To hand.
Sorry, Paul, go on.
So yeah, my last recommendation is from The Sins of Captain John box set, which
Yeah, is it that driving miss, whatever it is?
Is it fuck? That's from Captain Jack. That is actually the worst.
This is the sex one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So when I got this book, so I weren't a massive fan of Captain John Hart in Torchwood. You know, like I liked them, but some people act like he's the second coming of Christ, and you're like, all right, he's not that good. Like he's in about 2 episodes, so he's decent enough, yeah. And then I listened to The Death of Captain Jack, and he was amazing in it. So I thought, all right, you've won me over. I'll buy your box set. So episode 3, it's one story, John's telling it from his point of view while he's on a ship about to die, and it's full cast, so he flashes back and that. So it's called Peach Blossom Heights, yeah. And I will get the description up now.
Ooh.
Right. Captain John and Jack. Oh no, sorry. Captains John and Jack find themselves stranded on a world that may be actual paradise. The weather is pleasant, the people are friendly, and the giant stuffed animals only come out at night. There's only one thing the world is missing. No one has ever explained to any of the... There's only one thing the world is missing. No one has ever explained to any of the population about the birds and the bees, which is unfortunate. So, this is one of them stories where I was listening to it, and then in the last 5 minutes, I was like, oh my god. So, the whole thing, I was like, this is alright. And then the last 5 minutes give you, an entirely new perspective on the entire story. And I was like, that is one of the best I've ever listened to.
So your last Big Finish recommendation
No,
is
a...
I apologise. Your second to last Big Finish recommendation is a story where Captain Jack teaches a group of people about what sex is.
The group of people being Doctor Who fans listening to the audio. Dab.
So yeah, it's literally Captain John and Captain Jack teaching people about sex, and it sounds very juvenile. Yeah. And it is at the start, and then you realise that there's something off about the society and why they haven't learned about sex. And then it turns out it's I'm not going to spoil it, but it's
okay.
It's sort of like a dictatorship, but they don't know it's a dictatorship.
Emphasis on the dick.
That's filthy language. We don't want that on the Shobocast.
This is
nothing but clean so far.
He's one Jack as well, so he's not immortal. He's just... They say his name is Jovic Fane at the start, and then John's like, but we all know who he is, so I'm just going to keep calling him Captain Jack. Because John's telling the story, he breaks the fourth wall, and he's a bit cheeky. So
cheeky chap.
He's obviously this is a point
he's
in
the
his time.
Deadpool of Doctor Who.
So except that he's not actually breaking the fourth wall because he's recording as well. But yeah, so he basically, he's like, at this point in time, he's not Jack, but I'm going to keep calling him Jack for the duration of this story anyway. You're like, yeah, all right. So yeah, it seems very juvenile. It is very juvenile. It's a bit goofy, but then the plot's like pretty. I don't want to be one of them guys, but it's deeper than you think. Like the meaning of them.
It's so deep.
It's so deep, Dan. It's so deep, and I don't just mean the sex.
Oh,
Nice.
That's a cheeky joke.
Oh yeah. So
what's your last recommendation then, Paul?
oh yeah, I shouldn't have left this till last. But
Is it a bit of shit?
no, it's my favourite one ever. But
Oh,
you probably don't like Class.
I do like Class.
What I've seen of Class, I didn't
Oh.
like.
Dan, we're cock dick balling now, as they say.
What?
None.
I believe Class deserved more than it got. I think.
and it did get more than it deserved.
What?
No.
I don't think it did.
Oh,
It only got one series.
In the audios, I mean. So this is the third episode of Class Volume 1. It's called Tell Me You Love Me, and it features Charlie, Matthias, and Miss Quill, and that's it. It's like it's the closest thing to it is Midnight, but it's better than Midnight. Yeah, in my opinion. So it's like, do you know the way in Class there's the cracks and stuff comes through?
Mhm.
So Charlie and Matthias are about to have sex in like the locker room or something.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Then
Class.
an alien parasite, similar to Midnight.
'Cause that's what school's
comes through
like,
the
guys.
crack.
That's what school's like.
Yeah, for some people, not for me. But yeah, so this you don't see it, or well, you
I
don't
think
see
there were
it,
two
it's
kids
all-
at my school that had sex in the bathroom. Carry on.
Oh,
I vaguely remember that. I might have to message someone and ask.
was it you?
No.
My school, it was on the school playing field.
Was it you and the person you're about to message?
No. I can't remember who it was.
But so that something comes out the crack. It's like not a physical thing though, like the Midnight entity, and it enters one of them. And
Way up.
Also through the
So-
crack.
so I'll get the description off now to see if it's any good.
Alright. So thanks
But,
for listening to this episode.
So
It's
The-
a cheeky episode of the Shobocast.
the school day has ended. Charlie and Matthias find themselves alone, though not quite as alone as they first believed.
Oh,
Three little words,
There's a pervert.
if you don't want to interrupt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Three little words could mean the difference between life and death, and Quill is the only person they can turn to. So now, this is another classic case of the story was good all the way through, and then the ending was just spectacular, and gains a new perspective. So, it's the ending's very dark, I reckon, but it's very, very, very good. So the entity passes between them whenever they say that they love the other person, and when it's in them, it's clearing out the memory. Oh, when it's in them, they can't stop talking, so they're constantly saying something like all the time. They can't stop even for breath. And when it's in the head, it's clearing out the memories, and that's why they can't stop talking, so that it can take over their body as like a parasite and be them. And then whenever they say I love you, it like transfers. So it's about them trying to figure out how to stop it while it transfers between them. And it's only those three people, so they don't know how to stop it. And Quill wants to just leave it in Matthias and let him die, because she can't let Charlie die because she'll die. And the tensions are very high between them all. And because they can't stop talking, they're saying a lot of honest truths and stuff. Very, very good, like next level. It's written by Scott Hancock, who's very big in the Big Finish sphere. So, yeah. It's
You okay,
the
Dan?
closest thing I can think of,
No, I'm a bit ill.
but it's not that similar. It's not like a rip off of Midnight.
Right.
Know what I mean?
So
I
okay,
only
so
know this
so
from
Paul
So
recommends
it's
a
like
rip-off of
midnight, but it's
Midnight.
not
Okay.
midnight.
So I am glad that Class kind of got like a second life
Yeah.
in Big Finish,
There's another.
which I think is what Big Finish is really good for.
Yeah.
As someone who knows nothing about it.
There's
Well, it gave Doctor Who a second life during the
The wilderness years.
dark years,
Yeah, good point.
because
Good
it
point.
was set up by Nick Briggs, who has always been a fan of Doctor Who,
Mhm.
and he's been voicing the Doctor, making this since 1997,
Yeah.
and then got a dog on Doctor Who job on Doctor Who.
A dog. He got a dog
Sort
on
of
Doctor
through-
Who.
He may have done. The Daleks are like a big dog.
So there's I didn't know you liked Class so much, Tom.
I have
you
a
know-
soft spot for it.
Do you know the guy who does the music, Blair Mowath?
I don't.
He wrote an episode in the fourth box set called Queen of Rhodia, and it's like Quill wakes up back on Rhodia, except Charlie and all that are there, but they're people in like Rhodian society, and she's on like the side of what's it called? She's like Charlie's species and Charlie's her species,
Uh-huh.
and it's because they can't really go past episode 5 of Class in the box sets, because after then it's like all every like they're not allowed to go past series 1, and for it to be like a filler episode, it's hard to go past like episode like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
with it being like leading into directly into each other. So Blair Mowath, obviously, he's got a lot of love for the series because he scored every scene of it, and he scored both all 4 of the box sets. He wrote this episode. There's like a love letter to it, and it really shows how good it is, like
Nice.
how much love he has for it. So like it's just and he sets it later in the series. Like he finds a way to set it later in the series too, in a really interesting way.
It
So
was all a dream.
Definitely get more than that. Definitely get it like the Class box sets, I'd say, because there's not
Yeah.
a bad.
Because they're class.
They are the Class.
So on that, now we're wrapping up the discussion of Big Finish.
Any
I've
questions?
got a. Well, I have actually.
It's time
as I
for
was-
Ed 4.
So first of all, how do you generally listen? Where do you listen to Big Finish? How do you generally?
Well, wait,
Well.
actually, I wonder if Ed will reply. Are you talking to me specifically, or do you want to let Dan
Cameron, you go
Any of
first.
you?
I do have some physical copies, but
Yeah.
I mostly use the app on my phone,
Okay.
because then it's just like I've got it downloaded on my phone. I can listen to it in the car when I'm off to see my nan or something, or on my way to work or whatever.
I probably should have guessed there was an app.
Oh yeah, the app's great. They've recently added like a playlist feature.
Oh, that's
So like when you get the monthlies, mine are all like I've got mine in alphabetical order, I think. So
So yeah, I have a couple on like in physical form. Don't know where they are. But most of what I've got on my phone is I got when an uncle very kindly sent me a code to use on the website that they had. I think it came with a magazine or something. That basically gave a ridiculous discount on everything. I think it was any story. Certain stories were only 99p. So I just
Wow.
I that's how I got the main chunk of what I've got. That, and the way it is lately is, Paul will tell me about something that's come out because he keeps up to date with it, so that's helpful. He'll say, "This is out. It's probably good. Download it." And all I do is I go on the website, download it, claim the free copy, go on the app, download it to my phone, and then I'll take the dog out for a couple of hours and blast through stuff. Then,
Yeah.
been a bit different lately because I've been at a new job and settling in there, but I've got a lot to listen to still. So yeah, that's how I listen to it. I can't listen to it on the like in bed falling asleep because I will just forget anything that happens when I wake up the next day. I'm really bad for that.
Yeah.
And I've
Well, so
listened.
you kind of touched on another thing I wanted to ask
Yeah.
was, like looking at all the stories you recommended. Some of them are very cheap, but a lot of them are quite expensive.
Yeah.
Like 30 quid for.
Most of mine are in box sets. Because
Start
I
with
only really listen
Cuddlesome.
to box sets.
Cuddlesome is free.
So
I
basically,
will get on to Cuddlesome, but
when it
what are some of your ways around the fact that it is
when
a little bit expensive?
Don't look at the price and just mash the button.
I can't afford to do that.
I go, oh well, I can't afford that. Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
But-
Whoops, I slipped and pressed buy and then confirmed payment and delivered.
Usually, when I get my student loan, so when I got, what was it? When I first got my job a couple of years back, when I was like 16, I bought the Doom Coalition Volume 1 to 4 for like 90 quid. If you're gonna get box sets and there's loads of them, get like a bundle, because it'll be like 30 quid each or like 80 quid for all 4. So it saves you like 90 quid.
This is really interesting for me because the most I've spent on a Big Finish product is about £5 on that Trial of the Valiard CD.
Well,
Forbidden
just
Planet.
checked.
That's it. Everything else has been bought for me or with heavy discount, like I said.
I've just checked and I've bought 26 box sets, as well as like
Christ.
A lot of the Paul McGann stuff, including Doom Coalition, is currently on
half
sale
price. Yeah.
because it
But,
is his birthday.
The thing
So-
is, though, I can say, like, how can you spend that much money on Doctor Who merchandise?
Listen
But then
up.
you look at my shelf behind me. I've got so many DVDs
Yeah.
and figures. Like,
So
How
yeah,
can I spend that much on Big Finish?
I've got like
£400 worth of Lego.
flags.
I'm saying all this. I'm currently eyeing up a guitar that's going to cost like 500 quid.
What are you getting?
when
I can't remember what it was called. It was one I found in a music shop near me. You keep talking, I will find the name of this
Okay,
guitar.
I want to know.
when I listen to Big Finish, I can't listen to it when I'm out, otherwise I'm not paying attention. So like I'll turn all my lights off and just lay on my bed in the dark looking at the
Naked.
ceiling.
Touching yourself.
No, I bought this
Viciously masturbating.
bought this blindfold to put on during the day.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised we didn't start this episode with a like. You're listening to a Big Finish production.
I'll
We can
record.
edit it in.
I'll like save one at the end for you
Okay,
for
we can
editing.
do that. Yeah.
But so yeah, I've got like, I didn't realise I had 26 box sets, but that's as well as like I've got quite a few McGann audios that I've never listened to. I've got the Omega one. I've still not listened to that out of time. I bought the Holy Terror the other week because the Sixth Doctor's Penguin companion's in it for Frobisher.
Oh, we never talked about Frobisher.
I've got I've got a Torchwood monthly or two,
Here it
and then
is.
a few short tips that I've not listened to. But yeah, I didn't think it was that much, but apparently it is. But I asked Ed what he'd recommend, but we can brand this little section Ed's thoughts.
Whoa,
Ed's
Dracula.
recommendations.
That's a good idea for a name of the segment, I think.
Yeah. So he said Chimes of Midnight is a classic and one of the best. Plus it's a Christmassy one, so full stop. Light at the End is always a good starting point. Lots of Doctors and bloody. Oh, and Blood of the Daleks is a nice jumping on point for the 8th Doctor stuff. Blood of the Daleks will be dead cheap then. It'll be like £3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
What
go
was
on.
the second question you asked us? You asked us
How about the price?
where we listen. Oh, right, with the price. With the War Doctor box sets that I've got, I only bought 2 of them. They were both £15 physically. So that was the price of one at the time. But I didn't have enough to buy all 4 of them because I didn't want to spend £60. So I've only got the first 2 and I got them for the price of one, basically.
Uh-huh.
When I buy... when I got my student loan this time, I bought the War Master Volumes 1 to 4 for 90 quid,
Aye.
which are like 30 quid each. So it saved like £60. Because the way I see it, I'd rather spend I'd rather spend more now than less in the long run.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So, with the Lives of Captain Jack, I bought the physical one on Amazon. That was the first one I ever bought, actually. But then I had to put the CD in. I never listened to it apart from the first episode. But then during lockdown, the digital one was half price, so I bought that. But lots of the time, when I buy something, it's not half price. Like all the Class ones I've got, the other two Captain Jack ones, Susan's War. Susan's War I bought the day it came out, even though I weren't planning to, and I still haven't listened to it because I haven't finished running Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Usually, as soon as they announce it, Dan, yeah, like when the box set comes out, there's like a couple of month period where it's so like, say it's £20 for the download and £25 or £30 for the £25 for the physical.
The CD. Yeah.
A couple of months later, it'll go up to regular retail price, and it'll be like £30 for the download and £35 for the. So when they announce, it's normally the cheapest time, unless there's a reduction in the future.
7 years later.
Yeah, the classic. With the 8th Doctor audios, there was like an offer on to get the Charlie Pollard collection. For like £10 it was, for about 13 or 15 audios it was. So I thought that's a bargain, that. So I've got that, not listened to many of them. And as I said, the monthly ones that everyone recommends are usually dead old. So they're always like £2 or something. But the monthly ones they release monthly still are normally like £7. So
Okay.
it's not too expensive with the monthlies, but with the box sets, you're basically getting like a mini series. So like with the War Doctor, I'm happy to pay like £30 a box set, even though never, because it's John Hurt as the War Doctor again, and it's like, when are you ever going to get that again? And the new one they've announced, it's only like £20. The one with the impressionist, like the War Doctor Begins. So I'm gonna get that too. And then I got the classic Doctor New Monster ones half price as well, I think. And Torchwood Believe was dead good. That was like £35. But worth it, because it's like another series of Torchwood, just as good as, like, well, not a bit worse, not worse, but like I'd say it's up there with Children of Earth, rather than down at the bottom.
It's quite high praise.
It was about like a cult of people on Earth that try to make themselves look like aliens, like through plastic surgery, and you join the cult and they modify you to look less human, and then they start taking like your voice box out, so you're very monotone and stuff like that. And Owen wants to do something about it, and Jack doesn't. And Arthur Darvill's in it as some guy. But yeah, it's that is a good box set as well. Every Torchwood I've listened to from Big Finish is.
Should we start to wrap up then?
Yeah. Something really weird happened then with my connection, so you all just cut out for like 10 seconds, but I think we roughly got what Paul was saying.
It recorded,
What?
It did record, didn't it?
What?
It did record, didn't it?
It did record, it's just the past like 10 seconds or so, we just mute.
Oh,
and I was like,
But will it have picked up on your end on the recording, or?
No.
Do we know what we're doing next week?
No.
Okay.
Are we gonna do Invasion, or
Well,
Should we
I
do
mean,
it?
I could probably get this episode out tonight. So we're going to have 2 episodes up at the same time, which would make my week a lot easier, but also it means we can, if you want, I can hold this one back a bit and we can have a break. It's up to you, really. If you want to do Invasion, it gives you loads of time to watch that. Or if you want to do something else, I can pop a randomizer up.
I think we should hold this back to. We should bank this for next week.
Okay.
Invasion's going to be quite boring, and then Cameron said it was quite boring, which makes me not want to do it even more. It confirms.
Yeah, but I've watched it now.
And I feel bad because Cameron has actually watched it.
It took me 2 days to get through it because I've watched 8 25-minute blocks.
So yeah, right. Thanks for listening, all. What, 2 of you?
But individually,
If you want to get in contact us
If you want to
with
tell
us,
us
where can they
about
do that
how
then?
we didn't mention Zagreus, so we're wrong, then feel free to do that. Though just remember that that's not the point. Yeah, at Shobocast everywhere.
Including on at gmail.com?
And LinkedIn.
Yeah. We're on LinkedIn now?
No.
We could have been.
We can be.
I'm
so much more.
I'm at Shinksy
So
underscore on
much
Twitter.
more.
Does anyone else want
I'm at Paul Cag on Twitter.
Very good.
to?
No one's. I'm at Lord Voldemort on Twitter.
Hey, he's got 2 accounts.
He's
No.
got you there, Cameron.
Cameron didn't even name the other account.
And I am FortniteBurger.net.
You're listening to the Shobocast production. That alright, Dan?
No.